Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to uh, share my discussion with you, and I just wanted you to know I opted for the most popular one, option three, for my discussion this week, which talks about Fulton's six secrets, as mentioned by Scheninger. Uh, these secrets that are mentioned are namely loving your employees, connecting with peers, capacity building, professional development, being transparent, and of course, sharing ideas. Loving your employees. When I first heard this topic, even as a supervisor myself, I was kind of taken aback by it. But I think this is talking about the relationship with a supervisor and his employee as far as on a professional level. We seem to have a lot of problem with that today. But from a Christian perspective, showing care and being an example to this employee and empathizing with some of the situations that probably they're going through, not necessarily on the job, but in their personal life, the supervisor can relate to that and help the employee where it's necessary if he really cares for them. The next one that is mentioned is connecting with peers with purpose. This is, of course, kind of linked with the love for the employees. It would only stand to reason that you'd want to get to know that employee to establish some kind of rapport to get to know them. And again, this is in a professional manner. Whereas the leader, one is able to empathize again and make sound decisions concerning an employee's welfare dependent upon the circumstances. So they're kind of related, that love of employee and connecting peers with purpose. Capacity building. This relates to the ability of the educational leader to empower the employees to move up to the next level, like in the case of, let's say, a principal who sees the potential in a teacher. They could probably have them be a teacher for a day, teacher for a week when he's on leave, that type of thing. Empower them to learn, to move to the next level. And this is what I think it's talking about in this case. As we move on, of course, there is the learning is the work, as is described by Scheninger. This is providing professional development in the case of webinars, seminars, workshops, anything that can be provided to the employer for he or she to improve in their area of expertise. So again, wisdom would have to be put here as far as the selection, but of course, making those things available and the time available for their employee to progress. Transparency. I'll stay a little bit on this one. Hopefully, I don't overdo it. But this is just pretty much being honest, having integrity, and not just saying it, but of course, living it. Being an example. Um, just being forthright with your employees if things are going wrong, or being able to share with them what is actually going on with the school and so forth and so on. Just being, as the word says, transparent, being honest. So that's what that's talking about. System learns, sharing ideas. I guess there used to be a time in education where ideas were hoarded, where teachers wouldn't share their secrets with anyone, and it would just be a classroom and students and teachers. And but nowadays, with technology, we're sharing ideas as to how to improve and how to reach our students. And I think this is what this area is talking about: is to share ideas when a coworker has a problem or whatever. That the colleague who sees this fellow educator in a situation will share how they overcame probably a similar problem. Of course, there are also drawbacks that goes along with this. Of course, they mentioned lack of availability at time, lack of shared decision making, teamwork, of course, the bureaucracy, lack of support, going against traditions or the norms that exist, negative attitudes, and poor professional development. And of course, finally, unwise spending. Some of these are pretty self explanatory, complaining that the work is too hard. Of course, the enemy of the educator, lack of time. We don't have enough time. But it's funny that when we're interested in something, we find the time to do it. It's funny that how that works. Lack of cooperation in a group. We're gonna experience that as we try to form our teams. Hierarchy, as far as the bureaucracies that are in place. Red tape that one has to go through to get things accomplished. The fear of change. No support from leadership. The naysayers are today what they would term the haters. No matter what you do for these people, they're never satisfied. Poor professional development, like in the case of seminars and so forth. If they're provided, they have to be chosen very wisely in order to do so. And of course, frivolous purchases like on technology that don't really apply. Just like in technology that could be used to facilitate a student to see better, you wouldn't give that to a student who has a hearing problem. So you have to be wise in the way you choose these different technologies. So these are just some of the ideas that I got from reading this area, and I hope you enjoyed the time. Thank you, and have a good evening.